boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. It's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And you know, it's one of them situations where Disney doesn't seem to be able to get anything right anymore. Whether it be the fact that a lot of these kind of sequels and stuff like that, some of them have gone well, some of these remakes have completely turned into disastrous dumpster fires. And of course, it's one of them situations where it just doesn't seem like they can do anything right anymore. It's like literally, unless it's like a guaranteed brand that everybody has known and loved, that it's an IP that everybody knows and actually trusts, these movies just don't make any money anymore. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine has been the only profitable and successful Marvel movie, arguably, since Endgame. And it's one of them situations where that was because people trusted Ryan Reynolds. They trusted Hugh Jackman. They thought the trailers looked awesome. It looked wonderful. It looked fun. It was a trusted IP. But when it comes to anything Disney's new that they are trying to put out there, ladies and gentlemen, it just seems to flop over and over again, because what it ends up coming down to at the end of the day is these people just don't, the fans don't trust Disney anymore, whether it be Marvel, whether it be Star Wars, or whether it be Pixar. Boys and girls, the brand is just not trusted to give us something new, original, like they had been for so very long. Because there was not a too long ago time that Pixar could do no wrong. Boys and girls, they were one of the most trusted brands in the family and entertainment industry out there. In animation, they were groundbreaking for a long time, and they literally could do no wrong. I mean, The Incredibles was great. The Incredible 2 was actually pretty good as well. Obviously, all of those movies made more money, and now it seems like the only thing Disney knows how to do anymore is to continue to do reshoots, sequels, and remakes, because that's the only thing that seems to be successful for them. And Elio, its latest original idea out there, boys and girls, well, guess what? It's going to be another disastrous dumpster fire for the Walt Disney Company. It is going to lose them hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office, because as you can see over here from the headline at thatparkplace.com, Elio becomes the worst Pixar opening of all time with $21 million domestic opening weekend box office. And boys and girls, since that opening weekend, the numbers have not gotten any better. And with $150 million reported budget, probably not what the actual budget was on something like this, it is basically impossible for this movie to make any money whatsoever, because the international box office is not being receptive to this in any way, shape, or form. And certainly the domestic audience is not showing up either, because Disney's burned everybody out. They used to be the most trusted brand in family entertainment, right? Anything they put out practically was guaranteed to at least be profitable, practically no matter what it was. But that's just not the case anymore. Between the absolute destruction of everything we've seen with so many of our beloved IPs, whether it be Snow White, whether it be Marvel with what they've been doing with the Ironheart, what they've done with all of the Marvel series and all of their characters out there, or of course what they did to Star Wars and what turned into what was used to be a billion-dollar money printing machine into something that they've literally lost tens of billions of dollars. This is a continued cycle. This is a continued repetition for Disney out there. No matter how many of the talking heads try to tell you otherwise, boys and girls, Elio is not going to end up having any legs. This movie is going to end up flopping and costing the Walt Disney Company hundreds of millions of dollars once again, because they are creatively bankrupt and Disney burnout is real, boys and girls. So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com and, of course, jump over the numbers to see what the official numbers are landing at as of right now. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2K. I think we're sitting at like 20. We're sitting at like 20 at 35, sailing our way towards 2,100, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, there's a comment in the section down below. Did you go see it with your family with Elio over the weekend? Did you go see it by yourself? Did you enjoy it? Do you think this movie should actually be a success? And it just needs to wait for some word of mouth and maybe to leg out. Why do you think the reason, if you don't agree with me, that Disney burnout is absolutely real? What do you think the other reasons why audiences did not show up for what used to be a titan of family industry out there? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. Think about becoming a member and become part of the grease between our gears that keeps this machine running. All right, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Marvin Montanaro. Pixar has officially hit a new low with Elio opening weekend box office. The animation studio, once hailed as the gold standard of cinematic storytelling, has now delivered the worst opening weekend in its 39-year history with Elio. Almost 40 years, almost 4 decades of entertainment, and is the worst opening they have ever seen. And boys and girls, that's not even adjusting for inflation. That's just bare bones numbers. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. A space-themed original film that limped to just $21 million domestically and $14 million internationally, making for a mere $35 million global debut. Now, of course, all of the Disney pixie dusters are going to come out there and they're going to go, well, Disney just didn't market it. It's their fault. The movie failed. They didn't believe in it. Rada, rada, rada. Well, why didn't they believe in it? What was the case on that one? Why did they think it was not going to succeed? I don't know. But clearly, the audiences doesn't care, and the numbers don't lie. You know what? Let's just be generous. Let's be generous here real quick. We're doing it live, boys and girls. We're doing it live in the middle of our recording, which we do Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, boys and girls. Let's go check out what the audience thought of the movie, because at the end of the day, the audience decides, right? 91% Rotten Tomatoes score. 91% Rotten Tomatoes score, right? 1,000 verified viewings. All audience, 89%. That's still great numbers. That's still great numbers. So maybe you can try to argue that it was based on the marketing, but I saw trailers for this movie. I saw it show up on my newsfeed. I saw it show up on my ads on all of my favorite streaming platforms. So there was some marketing behind this movie. But even if there wasn't, then why didn't Disney want to invest the money in the marketing? Because they knew it was going to flop. They knew it was going to fail, boys and girls. So here we are, a movie that is going to cost the Bob Iger Walt Disney Corporation hundreds of millions of dollars again, which is why literally all you're going to get from Disney from here on out is sequels and remakes, because they are creatively bankrupt and cannot bring us anything new that people should actually be interested in. For a company that once kicked off weekends with over 180 million in ticket sales, this marks a stunning fall from grace. And the real sting? Elio was supposed to be the heartwarming return to the original storytelling. Instead, it's now a cautionary tale. While Pixar's corporate parent, Disney, is publicly confident that the film will leg out like last year's surprise performer, Elemental, which eventually grossed nearly $500 million worldwide, early signs suggest that Elio won't enjoy the same second win. That film opened stronger than Elio with $29.6 million in North America. Even the underperforming Lightyear poured $50.5 million domestically on debut. And I mean, based on the Rotten Tomatoes score itself, you could argue that it could leg out, that it could do really well. But some of those other things that they're comparing it to as well ended up doing a lot better internationally. And you're not seeing that from Elio at all. I mean, assume it's a full release internationally. Disney always gets top bill for all of those kind of things. But this is just a horrible start. And the problem with this is you have to, our general consensus, the general rule of thumb is 60 to 70% drop weekend over weekend. At best, you get a 50% drop. So unless for some reason this thing really legs out and it ends up doing another $29 million in its next opening weekend, its next weekend, or 20 million or 15 million, it's simply not going to happen. This thing has to have the best hold on the face of the planet in order to actually become profitable. And at a $150 million budget, right? We're talking at minimum $350 to $400 million is what this movie globally has to make in order to get a profit. And I just don't think you're going to see that. There are no signs pointing in that direction whatsoever. I don't see any buzz about this movie on social media. I don't see anybody out there promoting it, saying it's the best thing ever. I'm simply not seeing any talk about this whatsoever. So maybe the fans that did go to see it really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad they had a good time. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much this audience over here actually decides to do it if nobody shows up to watch it. The film opened, yeah, there we go. We talked about all of that. A budget black hole. Disney and Pixar have been officially pushing Elio as a $150 million production, but multiple Hollywood insiders are disputing that figure, suggesting the real number could be closer to $300 million after extensive rewrites, last-minute restructuring, and costly production delays. And we know we have all of this stuffing happening, right? We have the former Pixar employees, right? They complained about Inside Out 2. They all got fired and laid off. Why? Because they wanted to inject a bunch of their political correctness, LGBTQ agenda soup stuff in there, right? They wanted to interject all of that. So what happened? They all got fired because Pixar said they were done. Elio's been in the works for a while, so I guarantee you they had to do the exact same thing with Elio. He was probably going to end up coming out to be non-binary as well as disabled and probably just hit every single one of their diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense check boxes. But then they realized, oh, crap, we can't do that. Like literally Disney blames Buzz Lightyear failing at the box office because of the marketing around the gay kiss. So literally that's what they've done. And so it wouldn't surprise us at all. $300 million budget. This movie will never make a profit if that's the case. A $300 million budget. That means at minimum, this movie needs to make between $800 to $900 million globally. And I don't care how good the legs are, this movie will not happen like that because of how poorly this thing started out there. While reshoots aren't the typical term used in animation, the concept still applies. Major scenes were reportedly reanimated or repurposed multiple times as the film struggled to find its tone and identity. Oh, wow, this falls in line with everything else we've heard come out of Disney. They don't have their scripts done. They don't have their stories done. They just start on projects and they wing it all the way through, which ends up costing them even more money. You want to know why Disney's budgets have ballooned so high, whether it be Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, or any of the rest of it? It's because they go in flying by the seat of their pants and they have no idea what story they're actually going to present. They're literally making it up as they go along, and that is very, very, very obvious. Even before its release, industry whispers pegged Elio as a troubled project. Creative and cast turnover during production, along with pressure to balance heartfelt storytelling with marketable sci-fi spectacle, may have contributed to its uneven reception and bloated reported production costs. Excuse me, boys and girls, still getting over chest congestion. Hold on for a second. Oh, I'm so glad I've got that mute button now. Adding insult to injury, Elio was completely steamrolled by the competition. In its second weekend, DreamWorks live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake brought in $37 million, outpacing Elio by a wide margin. Meanwhile, Dan Boyle's long-awaited zombie sequel snagged $30 million in North America and a staggering $60 million globally, doubling Elio's entire worldwide take. Now, given the audience for 28 years later is not exactly going to be the exact same audience for Elio, but still, needless to say, the fact that a horror movie stomped what should be family-friendly entertainment that should automatically do gangbusters, at least in your opening weekend, especially considering it's summer, you know, when all the kids are out of school, yeah, not exactly a great sign. It's a brutal reminder that even a glowing cinema score, Elio scored an A, while kids giving it an A+, can save a film with strong opening punch. And most critics label the film as forgettable at best and the worst Pixar film of all time at worst. The worst Pixar film of all time. That's after what? Toy Story 4 or 5? Toy Story 4 was the really bad one, right? Whatever the most recent one was. Wow. Elio may find a second life on Disney+, but its theatrical run has already made box office history for all the wrong reasons. Whether the film eventually climbs to a steeper hit status or fades into the void of forgotten Pixar titles, one thing is clear. The studio that redefined animation is facing galaxy-sized crisis when it comes to launching new ideas. And it is. It's bad. We can go over here and look at the numbers. Like, I went to the daily chart to try to find this movie today for a Friday, right? Which would have been Thursday's daily chart from the day before. Wasn't even on the list. In the middle of summer, with all the kids out of school, a family-friendly movie like Elio is not even charting on the daily charts. Boys and girls, the Disney brand is toast. They have done this for themselves, right? They have decided to go through and give one crappy project after another, change all of the backstories, change all of the insanity, damage their brands, ignore their fan base, and then when the fan base doesn't like something, they blame it on us. Rachel Ziegler, Star Wars, these executives, the people in the media that run cover shots for them all the time, right? This is what happens when you do that. We're the audience. We're the fans. We just decide what succeeds and what fails. And guess what, Disney Pixar? Guess what, Disney Marvel? Guess what, Disney Star Wars? Although you've known this for a long time, the fans don't trust you. The audience has given up on you. And unless it's something that is beloved to them, like another Toy Story 5 remake, they're not going to show up. No one trusts the Disney brand anymore, and they've done it to themselves. We saw them push the agenda over and over and over again into children's entertainment. We saw them try to course correct and cancel all these projects and cancel episodes. But they've been doing this for years, a decade, if not longer, you could argue at this point. They've been giving you crappy storytelling, trying to push an agenda, hoping that you were just too dumb to notice. They thought you, the audience, you, the fans, were stupid, and they could just continue to shovel slop down your throats and you just suck it down like a bunch of pigs at a trough. Well, guess what? As has happened throughout history over and over and over again, the serfs aren't as dumb as the elites think. And just like it has failed in the past, it is now failing once again before our very eyes. Whether or not Elio is a good movie or not, I have no idea. I don't have any desire to see it. I don't have any desire to support this company at the box office with something like this. But at the end of the day, you cannot deny the truth. Elio is the biggest Pixar disastrous dumpster fire at the box office ever in the history, the almost 40 years history of the company. And that is all because of people like Bob Iger and the rest of the execs at the Walt Disney Corporation that have burned the fans, have burned the audience, and have burned their own reputation right down to the ground. Bob Iger, you danced with the devil, and now you're getting exactly what you deserve. Enjoy burning hundreds of millions of dollars all over again.